We often view elite human athletes as the standard for physical speed. When a professional sprinter hits their stride, they are operating at the peak of human capability on land. But that velocity requires specific inputs. It depends entirely on a dry, flat, and high-friction terrestrial environment to exist. The human body is bound by strict biomechanical limits. Even the fastest human footballer peaks at a hard ceiling of roughly 36 kilometers per hour. This table maps the marketing of the athlete against the numerical reality. While the branding suggests unlimited speed, the reality is a maximum of 36 kilometers per hour, strictly confined to land. Human speed is not a limitless metric. It is a restricted output that depends on specific environmental conditions. To test the resilience of this specialization, we have to force it into a completely different physical medium. Moving terrestrial biomechanics into deep water removes every structural advantage that the human body relies upon for momentum. To understand the new baseline for performance, we look at the apex competitor of the ocean, the sailfish. This species reaches peak output speeds of 110 kilometers per hour. This split-screen comparison shows the divide. The left dial locks human capability at 36, while the aquatic model sweeps past the 100 mark to hit 110. The data presents a core question. Does peak performance stem from physical effort, or is it a byproduct of being in the right environment? The mechanics of bipedal locomotion demand immense muscular exertion from the legs to maintain momentum. Every ounce of that exertion relies on solid ground. Without high-friction contact to push against, those muscles cannot translate energy into forward movement. Even on land, velocity introduces a barrier, air resistance, which scales aggressively the faster you run. This animation shows the limit. At 36 kilometers per hour, generated energy is offset by the force required to push through the air. Furthermore, the lever action of human legs loses efficiency at that threshold. Energy is wasted during stride recovery as the leg moves back. Attempting to push past this 36-kilometer limit requires an exponential increase in physical effort for almost zero gain in speed. The human speed ceiling is a biomechanical law. The body is adapted for, and confined to, the land domain. Move those same mechanics into the ocean, and the rules of physics shift. The defining metric is medium density. Liquid water is roughly 800 times denser than air. Entering that level of density with a body designed for thin air is mechanically inefficient. This split-screen visual demonstrates the problem. The wide, sweeping bipedal motions that create thrust on land turn into friction anchors in the water, generating severe hydrodynamic drag. Without a solid surface to push against, all leg power dissipates into the liquid, generating zero forward thrust. The athlete's heart rate spikes and muscles burn, but that cardiovascular exertion yields almost no speed. Applying physical effort through the wrong mechanical structure in a high-density medium results in a negative return on investment. The sailfish is a biological blueprint for high-density aquatic travel. Its velocity is a direct function of its physical design. The long, pointed bill functions as a piercing mechanism, cutting through dense water and eliminating frontal drag. The tapering torpedo-shaped anatomy then channels the liquid around the body, turning environmental resistance into a slipstream. The propulsion system relies on a muscular tail acting as a direct drive engine that requires no ground friction to operate. To maintain stability at 110 kilometers per hour, the massive dorsal fin acts as a structural stabilizer, preventing the body from rolling. Every anatomical feature works together to achieve high velocity with minimal wasted energy. The sailfish dominates because its physical form is perfectly aligned with its environment, rendering terrestrial traits obsolete. Evaluating this comparison through data makes the nature of the mismatch obvious. This quadrant chart maps speed output against medium density. When we plot the athlete, we see a spike in the low-density land sector, which drops to zero as density increases. The sailfish registers no terrestrial capability, but reaches the peak of the high-density quadrant. The practical result is clear. The aquatic form moves upward effortlessly, while the human athlete exerts immense effort for no gain. Investing effort into an arena hostile to your foundational structure is a guaranteed strategic failure. We can distill this breakdown into a framework for strategic planning. The optimization rule. Rule 1. Identify your native domain. You must pinpoint the environment where your specific inputs generate the highest output with the least friction. Rule 2. Avoid cross-domain mismatches. Recognize when a shift in conditions nullifies your competitive advantage. For data-driven optimizers, this means acknowledging that sheer willpower cannot override structural mechanics. Specialized human mechanics are unmatched on land, but true dominance requires accepting that effort is irrelevant if you are swimming in the wrong ocean.